Hello, welcome back to my fourth video, I think. Third video. First video.
Restart. Cut.
I'm not restarting that. This is Dylan, he's my boyfriend, and we put a poll on Instagram to ask us questions about dating, because we started dating in quarantine, and it's been hard. It's super great, but hard, but really great.
Blessings in difficult times. That was
Yeah, it has been.
funny.
So we have a lot of questions to answer. I'm not going to answer them all because this video will be an hour, but just whatever we're feeling. And we also don't have all the right answers. This is just like what has worked for us and what basically a lot of our testimony too. You'll hear through this, just like how we live our life and how we do things. So, with that being said, I feel like I need like, what is it? Like
Action.
Sure, but I was gonna say like a theme song, you know, like Jeopardy would be like, and we're back. Not actually, but like kind of. Okay, so the first question is, what is the best way to prepare to be a spiritual leader? So like going into a relationship, how do you prepare to be a spiritual leader? Do you want me to start?
You can start, yeah.
Okay, I would say you just have to pursue your singleness well, because your singleness it's truly such a gift, and I loved my times of being single. I love dating you. But when I was single, it was really great, and I think I stewarded it really well, and I took that time to just like grow in my relationship with the Lord, and that just like stemmed into me being authentic in this relationship, which led me to be a leader, if that makes sense. So I would say for me that's how I went into it, but what do you think?
I would almost say like your leadership starts before you even start dating. Like your time with the Lord, like you said, like finding your independency. It's just super important, because once you get into the relationship, like you're caring for yourself and going about the ways with the Lord, but you also have someone else to care for and love. And so like building that leadership, whether that's with other friends at school or on a sports team, and honing into that right before you even start a relationship. So.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so how do you know if someone is right for you? How do you know?
The butterflies?
The butterflies? The constant butterflies?
The constant butterflies that every time you go over there, go over to your house, that you just get all tingling. Never stops. I would say, kind of discussing this before, is just you feel that you can be you. Like you can be yourself. That you don't have to play another person or act like someone else to make this person like you. And once you can, like, once that person accepts you for you and all of your past sins and mistakes, like then you truly it kind of opens your eyes to say like, hey, like I've found it, like I don't need to search it like anymore. But yeah, obviously it feels, I mean, it's going to be difficult, but it almost feels easy to be in the relationship. You're not always like asking questions on like, oh, does this person like me or not? Like it just feels real.
Mine's different. I'm always like, do you love me?
Yeah.
Do you like me? But I know he does. I'm just kidding. But yeah, that's good. Do you have more to add, or are you good?
No.
Yeah, I would just emphasize that. How do you know if someone's right for you? I would, like, if they share in your main characteristics, like we are both Christian, and so that was like our main thing that I was looking for. Like if you're a Christian, that's like the top of the line, like what I need. But then there's obviously like you have to be attracted to them, you have to enjoy some of the same things, and like have good personalities together. You have to like mesh your personalities together. So just like natural things to look for in dating. But the next question says, how long did you date before you had to sit down and discuss boundaries in a conversation? So how long were we dating until we like talked about boundaries?
Well, weren't even like dating yet. We literally like right when quarantine started, me and Emma have been like best friends for 8 years. So like I sat down and like basically confessed to her that I like really liked her. And so not even, I would say like maybe a week after, like we sat down and just said like if we're gonna pursue like a relationship, like Emma was like we have to establish boundaries. And for me personally, going through my past relationships, like I never even heard of the word boundaries in a relationship, like none. So it was like eye-opening to me. And if we go back to like feeling like this is the right person, like this was you have to learn from your old mistakes in your past relationships and adopt new areas to improve, I guess. So like when Emma was like, hey, this is like, we have to establish this, I was like mind blown. I was like, like this is going to be so much more of a healthy relationship. So I would just encourage everyone, like, establish them like right away, whether you just started dating or you're just like thinking about moving into that next step of your relationship. It's just establishing those. So
that's good. Yeah, I mean, I definitely was like I know you have to know yourself too. And like I knew that getting into a relationship, especially with someone who I've liked for a really long time, I was like, boundaries are going to be so important, otherwise things are going to happen very fast, and I do not want that, like saving myself from marriage, so I was like very clear with like moving forward in that and being like, this is what I need. And then also like going back, like that you said too, like going back to that question, like if the person that you talk to with your boundaries is like very defensive in them, I think that that's a sign too, because even though Dylan had like never had boundaries before, he was like so respectful and like so ready to like pursue those boundaries and like go with them. And of course we've had like a lot of hard times with boundaries. I think a lot of couples do, but it's just like how you go about them. But that's another question we'll get to in a little bit. But yeah, I think that right away set up your boundaries and be really firm with them, and don't like belittle your boundaries because the other person says that like that's not needed. You know, if you need to like not kiss, then don't kiss. You know, if you need to like, if it might seem like little to someone else, but like huge thing for you. So don't like diminish yourself to satisfy someone else when that's what you need. So yeah, that was good. So what do you do when all you want to do is be in a relationship?
What do you do?
What do you do?
I would say just like
Sit down with the Lord and ask, journal and ask the Lord, like, why is this so much on your heart? And what are you wanting to fulfill inside of you that you think a relationship is going to satisfy? Because we were kind of talking about this, and just like, you're already one full whole person, and dating someone isn't going to satisfy or like put a missing piece to you. And so that's why we have Jesus, and I think that's so important to remember. And so obviously it's super great to be in a relationship, but like I said before, like you're already a whole person, you're already so equipped to do whatever you want to do with the Lord. And so it's really important to remember that, and then just to pursue your singleness well, like we talked about before. But you have anything there?
I mean, that was really good. I was just gonna say, like from a personal like standpoint, if like you're a person that's really searching for like a physical relationship with somebody, a relationship in this world, like God is your father, God is your relationship that you need to hone into and really find first. Because personally for me, before I started dating Emma, like I was searching for that that person to fill the void in my life and be like comfort and that care that I thought I needed. But once I sat down and like built my independence and really like found the Lord in those quiet times, I felt cared for and I felt whole. So like Emma just said, like it's great. It's like amazing to spend so much time with somebody, but like if you're physically like independently can't do that and you feel like you need someone all the time, then I encourage you to search for that independence and work on that first. But
Yeah, that's good. So who pursued who first? We said before that we have been friends since 8th grade, so it was some time.
Yeah.
And I actually just read this morning about like Rebecca and Jacob in the Bible and how like he liked her for so many years, but he had to like work at his dad's place for all these years in order to like gain the relationship with Rebecca. And I thought of us, and I was like, that's cute. Okay, but who pursued who first? What are you thinking?
I would say I pursued Emma the longest.
Yeah, that's good.
In the sense of like I always like flirted with her and like tried to show her that, you know, in ways that I liked her, and I sometimes received that back, but like we like strictly kind of stayed like really good friends throughout the years. But I also personally like wasn't ready to date Emma at like any of those times, and I knew, and God definitely didn't put on my heart to tell her I liked her, like wanted to pursue a relationship with her until I was ready. But definitely, I mean, I've told her like this many of times, like the first time I like saw her, I was like, knew that was like, I knew she was it, but it was just, it was a whole journey to get to the point where we're at now. So.
Yeah, we like always dated someone else when the other person was single, if that makes sense. So when I had a boyfriend, he didn't have a girlfriend. He had a girlfriend, I didn't have a boyfriend. So it like the Lord really set that up in the best way for us, and like we learned so much in those relationships that we were in, and we don't like take anything away from those. We're not saying that. We're just saying that like we have like always had that just like connection and friendship, and then there was like times when we were single where it was more than that. But when we were dating other people, it was like strictly friendship, and we were like in those relationships, so I don't want it to make it seem that like we were doing something else. We were not.
We weren't. We were almost, I think, in those times also encouraging each other and wanting the best.
Yeah.
We wanted the best for one another. Even when we didn't talk for months and stuff, like it still came back to like how we're doing, or is the person that we were with pursuing the Lord, one, but also making us, you know, is it a great relationship? So,
yeah.
I don't know how else to say that, but yeah.
What's your Enneagram?
What's my Enneagram?
I don't know.
I think I'm a 7.
I don't think you're a 7.
I
found out I'm a 7. I just got back from the Live Original retreat, and all the girls there, I was like, I'm a 2, and they're like, no, you're a 7. And I was like, got it. I'm definitely a 7. Now that I see it. But I don't know what you are. I'm like sitting here trying to like think about it, and I only know what a 2 and a 7 and a 1 is. So I think you're a 2 to me. Like when he retreats me, he's a 2. But I don't really know. So we'll work on that.
Yeah,
Maybe if in the comments if you know if you're good with Enneagrams, what is he? Tell me. Okay, so this one is from Madison, who is the mom from the Live Original.
Oh, yeah.
I always talk about her. Madison, I love you. If you had to choose a hobby for the other one to be into, what would it be? What would you want me to be into?
I mean, I've always, like, I'm an avid reader, so I've always encouraged, like, Emma, like, maybe one day, like, we could sit down and, like, read together as, like, a quiet...
like, read books, not read the Bible.
Read the Bible, that's different, but, like, read books, whatever she would be into, fiction, mystery, but
so
she's kind of, like, pushed that to the side and said, good luck with that one, but so we'll see.
Maybe you wouldn't one day.
Yeah.
I would say I said like I would love for him to get into like art, like some form of art, because I know like you can't read that many books and then not have a creative mind. Like I know he does. It's in there. So I would love for him to like do some form of art, whether that it's like literally like writing or drawing or okay, maybe not drawing.
Not drawing.
No.
No. What's the game that we play?
Telestrations.
No.
Where you have to like guess a word and then you have to draw the word and someone else has to guess what you drew.
I can't draw.
Impossible.
I can't draw.
Okay. So going back to boundaries, how do you set boundaries to remain pure in your relationship? And then what are your boundaries and how do you fight temptation? So I think like the first question, how do you set boundaries to remain pure? It's literally like self-control, and we're learning that. Like we're currently fasting right now as a couple, and just so we can build that self-control muscle, because it's been 9 months now that we've been dating, and we have been struggling with boundaries from day 1. And so like this is something that our church is doing, like 21 days of fasting, and so we're participating in that. And even in our fasting, we've been definitely like what's the word, like, not struggling.
We've had some slip-ups.
Yeah, we've just we've just fallen into temptation sometimes in our fasting even, and which is gonna happen. Like, we are sinful humans, but we just know that our main goal is to like use our relationship to glorify the Lord, and we're trying our best to do that. And I know every relationship struggles with this, so we are no different. But in different relationships, people struggle with different things. So like boundaries might not be a struggle for you and your person, but like for the next person over, or the next couple over, it could be the thing they struggle about every single day. And so, but yeah, I think that like when you just love someone, you want to like show them love in every way possible. And like for Christian relationships or people who are just trying to like keep themselves in marriage, that's really hard. And so we've just like definitely asked the Lord for help in that, and we have a lot of people on our side. It definitely takes an army to do this. It's not just Dylan and I. We have friends and siblings, and we have a lot of people praying for us, people like on our backs. And so we definitely are good with like what's the word, like confession. Of course, to the Lord we always like pray, and then afterwards then ask for forgiveness, but then also we like tell our people as well to let them know that like this is what we're struggling with. And so if we are ever by ourselves, we have people texting us being like, hey, how's it going? Like, what are you guys doing? Are you keeping yourself busy? And then like before, so I live by myself. I have an apartment by myself. And so if we ever want to hang out here, we just have to be very, very strict on what we do. And so even before we'll hang out, we'll like talk and be like, hey, what, like today we're like, what are we doing? What are we not doing? You know, like we're not sitting on my bed. We're not, you know, what else do we say? I don't know. We're just like, we listed off things that we struggle with, and we like, I'm trying to think if we share all our boundaries. We have a lot, but also we're like, we got to a point where we're like, we don't want it to make it like, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, because then it's gonna make you like want to do it more. And so just like understanding your why, like why is it that I can't have him do this, or why is it that he doesn't want me to do this? Because it'll lead you. That's just like a leverage for Satan to like come in and be like, oh, like if this happened, might as well everything else, you know, jump in as well. But I'll let you. Do you have anything?
No, I think it's just been as we've gone further into our relationship and getting to know each other more, and how each person like once we passed our boundaries, like how the other person takes it, or like how each of our convictions are. I think we've learned like anytime we hang out and we know that we're gonna be alone, sometimes even when we're with friends too, like reestablishing those boundaries, or just like reminding ourselves like, hey, like you just said, like we can't lay in bed together, we can't sit horizontal, can't like, Emma would say like one of my top love languages is physical touch. Like I can't be like really like touchy, because then that is gonna pass our boundaries.
Just like mentally too. Like there's more than just physical boundaries. There's like spiritual boundaries, emotional boundaries, and physical. And so we always talk about those, but I've had to learn a lot about like emotional boundaries, and talking about a lot of things in like the future, and how like that can be I do it so much. Obviously it's fun to like think about, but there's a point where you can talk about stuff so much that it like whelms up all these feelings inside of you that you just want to like let loose, and then like that turns into like physical actions. And so I've had to learn that a lot, what that looks like, but also just like the way that you can talk to each other if it's dark, or the way that you know, like little things like that. Even if you think it's just being like nice for us, sometimes that like Satan can use that to like whelm things up inside of you. And like we're created to like do things like that. We're created to be physical with each other, but like the Lord just asks us to wait until we're like actually one in marriage. And so it's not wrong. Like don't condemn yourself or condemn others for having those feelings or falling into temptation, because like we are designed to do that, but just encourage people to lean on the Lord in that, and to just like encourage them and like support them as much as you can, because it is super hard. And especially dating in quarantine, that was really hard, because all we could ever do was be at each other's houses or go for drives. And so it's gotten better. Obviously things are opening up again, so we can do more things like go shopping and stuff, but before it was definitely really hard when we like all we could do was just like sit on the couch downstairs or play I don't really like playing games, so that was kind of hard.
Watching movies.
Yeah, and so
just a lot of quiet time with like each other, and so we've also made it like a priority too, just to keep ourselves like busy in a sense, whether we're making videos or TikToks or asking each other questions and stuff. So just making sure that we're not like in a restful place for a while. So.
Oh, that's good. Cool. So how do you grow together in Jesus, but also individually?
Good question. Together, for us, I think which we at times still need to get better at, is like reading together. We pray together every night, or try to every night. But also just talking about what God is doing in our lives. And I think that goes down to like the individual aspect as well, because we are individual. We're not living together, so like obviously during our day there's going to be things that happen that the other person is not going to know of, or God will have some action and where the other person doesn't see. So just talking about that, and I think personally for me is continuing to open up about that, and just tell like Emma what God is doing in my life when we're not together. But also I think something new is like I've never been really like good at remembering verses, so it's also like pushing each other in aspects of our faith too. And so I think we'll start like having verses that we need to memorize for each week, and helping each other with that. But yeah, it's just together I think is like in our faith wise we just work on like pushing each other in that aspect, and then individually you still like have your quiet time and have your time with the Lord, but just be open to like talking to the other person. So
yeah, we always say from like day one that like we want our relationship is an overflow of our individual time with the Lord. And so I can tell, and I know Dylan can tell as well, like if I don't spend time with the Lord, like I'm going to be more like avid towards Him with my actions and my words, versus if I wake up in the morning and I have my quiet time like I usually do, and I stay on that time, because that's when I do mine in the morning. Like I love waking up and like the first thing I do is like go read my Bible before I eat, before I do anything. I love just having that time with the Lord. And so I always say that like what I learn and what I hear from the Lord in my quiet time is my overflow, and also just my relationship with the Lord. So like the Lord is like a constant forgiver, and so like I am going to always be forgiving to Dylan, because there's no way that I could sit here and not forgive him for something that like he confessed to me, and like something that he confessed to the Lord too. Like if Jesus can like forgive him, and Jesus does forgive him, like why would I sit here and hold a grudge against him when he's asked for forgiveness in it? And so I think that's so important. And we've kind of like had, it's like your background on your phone still, you know, like that overflow. I don't
overflow. It's like a coffee cup with coffee like overflowing the cup.
Yeah, just a good reminder to like, and I think that's like, that helps so much in a relationship too, to just have that reminder of like, Jesus treats us this way. Like this is how we're supposed to treat the people in our lives, everyone, not only a dating relationship, but I think like especially in your dating relationship, because you're with them so much. And it's just super important to love like Jesus does, and to do all the things as an overflow because of our relationship with the Lord. So yeah, I think your individual time is so important, because it's going to like pour into how you do your relationship with each other. So yeah, that's good. But that was the last question. So.
Oh yeah.
Okay, well, that's all we have. So I hope you enjoyed. Ask some questions. Our DMs are open if you have any questions, as always. But if you liked having Dylan on my talk show, maybe he'll be back. You want to come back sometime?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Cool. Okay, bye.